Right, I'm here with James. I can see he looks you got that pained expression on your
Yeah.
face, as well you might. So just to recap, Newcastle 1, Arsenal nil. Second time in 2 seasons we've lost there. But I've got to say today, very disappointing. I would say comfortably Arsenal's worst performance of the season so far. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, it probably was our worst, but it'd been coming. Bournemouth was appalling. Shakhtar was pretty bad, and look, I always want to see the more positive side of things. So I make the excuses against Liverpool about the second half and why we approach it a certain way. But the reality is we've kind of been building towards this. Leicester again. I said, well, we peppered their goals, so conceding 2 goals isn't the end of the world. But then the Southampton game the week after that, we weren't looking quite at it. So we've just been in this downward trajectory with moments like Leicester and actually the fact we beat Shakhtar. Sorry, not Leicester, Preston and beating Shakhtar, making you think, oh, that's not so bad. The reality is we've been moving towards this. This team in the last 2-3 years have very rarely left me like really angry with them and like questioning their commitment to it. But today, I just felt like from the players to the manager, sometimes you want to run on as a fan and just be like, what was that from Roy Keane? I mean, listen, I don't subscribe to this at all. Do you know when Roy Keane said, I might just kick somebody just to make me feel better? Now, obviously don't do that. But what he means is like, put yourself about, like, do something that makes the opposition think, man, we're in a tussle here. And I think from Arteta's coaching, tactics, subs, game plan, and then Arsenal's general approach, the players' commitment, the lack of individual quality, just all of it left me so frustrated because I can't even come out of it going, well, my word, we knocked on the door and it was one of those days. That was, honestly, I can't believe this is Arsenal we're talking about. That was one of the easiest games Newcastle will have all season.
Yeah, you know what? I agree with pretty much everything you said there. I mean, when we've been talking about Arsenal in recent weeks, we've spoken in quite critical terms about there being a lack of creativity and a lack of ingenuity going forward.
Yeah.
But today, there was a lack of intensity, which is something I've very rarely seen from Arsenal. That's been one of the few things that you can't criticise them on. But today...
Can I throw in the word urgency as well?
Yeah.
It's like, I was doing like shows this week, right? And I was saying to people, massive week. And I keep saying, I don't want to be too hyperbolic, But I kept thinking but think about it. If we don't win this game and then maybe draw it Inter, but then beat Chelsea, the title could really be gone. The last win was the 5th of October, 2nd of November, so we're almost a month since our last Premier League win. We've got Inter and Chelsea away next, and then another international break. We could be towards the end of November before we're looking at a Premier League win again. And you try not to go too far. Well, this is a season-defining week. Maybe not season-defining, but I think it was a Premier League title-defining week for Arsenal. We failed at the first hurdle. I really think, I know that's so strong, but I really think that it didn't feel like they played with the urgency of there could be, if this was the final day and it was, and we're same place, Newcastle away, same players on the pitch, and it's score to win the title, I promise you we'd have thrown more at Newcastle. It was an urgency thing as well as it was a quality and tactical thing.
Absolutely. And it's interesting because we spoke during the week about early kickoffs. And listen, I'm not using that as an excuse. But for some reason, Arsenal do tend to struggle in early kickoffs on Saturdays. I know...
I'm laughing because I thought it would be a benefit. Sharoy and I were saying, well, at least it's not, a night game at St James's Park. Play them whenever. It's a nightmare, but there you go.
I mean, I'm trying hard not to put that out there as an excuse, but, it is something to at least discuss.
They need to sort that out then. I don't know if you need to get in the coach a day earlier. I don't know what it is. I don't care. Yeah. It's just not, it's just... I have no sympathy on that front, really.
Okay, yeah.
You're right.
It's been thrown out there. It's been thrown out.
And people will hear that and go, oh, come on, what are you talking? If that's a trend, there's something with that we're not doing well with, we need to fix it. But it's just not, I'm not giving the players that.
Okay, you won't go there. Let's talk about the manager because I'm seeing online, and I've spoken to Gunnar Lee and a few other people, and they're not happy with his performance today. The team selection, do you think he got that right?
Not really. Were you tuning into the starting 11 by any chance? The live show we were doing?
No, I missed that. No.
So, for anyone who was, you might remember I was saying that I understood why he played Partey at right back and Timber at left back, but my only concern was just because it worked against Liverpool doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work against Newcastle. So why did we play that back four against Liverpool? Let's remember the context. Saliba was missing, so White had to go to centre back. Salah's their biggest threat, and Timber was the best fullback we had to deal with that threat. So that means at right back, you're basically out of options. So you could either have played Kivior, right centre back, but he's not the physical profile to match up against Liverpool's front three. You could play you could play Timber right back and get Zinchenko at left back, but then you're asking him to do a job against Salah. So there's a very particular reason why we played that back four. And Arteta has this way of, he has this thing, Wenger had this as well. He sees something that worked against one team, and so he'll just roll it out for the next. But just because it worked there doesn't mean it's going to work here. And I brought this concern up in the starting 11. And Laurie, whenever I do this, whenever I talk about tactics and what Arteta could or should have done better, and to us it's true when we're talking about the players as well, of course it comes with the caveat of, I've never been a coach, I've never, or certainly not to a good level, I've never played the game to his level, everything he's forgotten in football, probably 100 times more than I've ever known. I understand that he's a complete student of the game and a professional, and he's employed to do it for a reason. And of course, he's obviously leagues ahead of any of us in this room or anyone near us when it comes to understanding of how to set up a football team. But sometimes football fans just know. They just know their team. And it goes back to, I could take you back to when Bellerin used to start ahead of Cedric. It's back when we were right in the, Yeah. And I'd say it then. Why is Cedric not playing? He's much better than Bellerin, or certainly the form he was in at the time. And then Bellerin leaves and Cedric stays another 3 years. We don't talk about how actually, at the time, that debate was probably proven right. And then you fast forward, there's Rob Holding in the running. Why is he starting Rob Holding in the running? He's not good enough. He's not a physical profile like Saliba. This is a mismatch. We don't like it. Kind of get away with it at Anfield, the draw. Oh, West Ham, was it really his fault? Oh, Southampton, well, even with Rob Holding, you should beat Southampton. Till he gets absolutely bullied off the park against Haaland at the Etihad, and then we revert to Kivior coming in, we actually win the next two games. Now, why am I bringing all this up? Because Arteta tends to have this almost blind spot where it takes him 2-3 games before he eventually goes, oh, I'm going to change it. Top four running. Lacazette was in terrible form. I'll bring Eddie in. Oh, wow, we've now beaten Chelsea. We've now beaten Man United. We've got a couple of wins. He can just take too long to see the problem. So why am I forecasting and saying all this? Because Havertz. In the absence of Ødegaard, he has moved Havertz out to that right-hand side in a 4-4-2 to try and combine with Bukayo Saka and be a part of build-up. Now, positionally, I'm sure he gets the position well, Havertz. But he is not creative. He doesn't knit play. He doesn't run the midfield. I'm not having a go at Havertz when I say this. He certainly doesn't do it anywhere near to the way Ødegaard does. But actually, he's not even that profile of player. So in losing Ødegaard, we've now lost our best striker. Because Arteta has decided to disrupt that position of the pitch to try and fix this position of the pitch, but he hasn't. So now we've got our front two ruined. But we knew this a month ago when he was struggling out in the right touchline against Southampton at home. We won 3-1. Then he bangs one in off the post, and then he starts playing some really good football. We beat Southampton 3-1. The warning signs are there, Laurie. Sorry for the massive rant.
I'm listening intently, and you're making some excellent points.
It's blind spots, and I don't know why it has to get to this low before he wants to fix some of them. And
sometimes in life, that's what needs to happen, though, isn't it? When things go wrong and they hit rock bottom.
And I know he knows more than me, and I know all these things, but it's just so frustrating.
It is, indeed. So, we're talking about team selection. I think we do need to address the in-game management. I mean, listen, I don't want to make this the Arteta slander show. However, questions do need to be asked. There's been a lot of people online, people I've spoken to have said, look, the in-game management today wasn't good enough. The substitution should have made far earlier. Your thoughts on that?
I didn't like the starting 11. I felt the subs, he gave the team 10, 15 minutes in the second half to do something.
Quite a few people saying there should have been changes. We were that bad. Should have been changes at half time.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I mean, but they had no impact. So We can call for them earlier. The point is the subs didn't really make a difference. We were still crap. I mean, well done, Winery. I thought he put himself about and showed some nice skill and tried to make things happen. But I mean, I thought, by the way, I don't mean to single these players out because they had way less time to try and have an impact. But Ben White came on. He gave the ball away 3 times. You know, he was in good attacking areas. Jesus, his touch wasn't there.
Zinchenko gave the ball away a couple of times as well.
Yeah, I actually thought weirdly he had more of an impact than most, but he didn't really do anything. Havertz moving up front. I mean, at least Cher and Burnwell asked some questions. And sorry, this comes back to the point I was making before. In the second half, Arteta did ask Trossard to drift out to the right so we could get Havertz back up front. So once again, like actually maybe what we're saying isn't so crazy. Yeah. The subs could have been made earlier, but we were shit. Basically.
Yeah, it was a bad day at the office. However, as we were hinting at earlier, sometimes when things hit rock bottom, you do tend to find that things improve. Give us a couple of words of positivity or encouragement going forward, because, you know, we laugh now, but, you know, there's some really big games coming up in the week. We are away at Milan in the Champions League, followed by a massive London derby game away against Chelsea. 2 potentially very difficult games. Where do we go from here?
Well, look, away from football, I say go enjoy your weekend. Go, enjoy the other things you enjoy in life, and Arsenal will get there. Football goes in cycles. Will we win the title? That's a fair question. We can explore that another time. But Arsenal will get more wins, and we'll have better days. On the actual sort of football front, away from just go enjoy your weekend, I think what I'd say is that I think Arsenal can fix this. I think Arsenal can sort this out, but not for the Premier League anymore. We can go and sort this out to then go win the Carabao Cup. I've never laughed at that trophy. I want to win silverware.
I don't want to get this wrong. So you're saying that the Premier League now is looking a bit forlorn?
I do not think we're going to win it. Do I think we can amass a points tally that maybe puts us in some sort of race at some point where maybe we'll go, well, we're only 4 points. You never know. Maybe we're capable of that, but I don't think we're going to win it. I think this was a hammer blow to our title chances, on honest assessment. Back what I was saying about the trophies, the Carabao, the FA Cup, the Champions League, like the season hasn't died. Keep fighting, claw yourself into whatever you can, as far up the table as possible. See where that takes you. Come home with a cup, and there'll be plenty of positives. But lots of positives potentially. It can still be a very good season for Arsenal. That's how the players and the manager need to think about it. But I can't pretend I don't feel extremely, extremely deflated right now, and I can't pretend that I think there's a title there for us to go grab. I don't think that. I said after City, right? I said after City in that draw and the way we performed, first half and second half, I said I think we're the best team in the country. And I thought in that first half against Liverpool, we played some football that was almost us trying to remind people of that. The best team isn't just having a certain high that they can get to, but it's that their lows don't go beyond a certain bracket. City haven't been outstanding, electric, incredible to watch for a little while now, but their low never goes beyond a certain point, and ours does, always. We have a shit day against Bournemouth, we lose. City have a bad day in Newcastle, they weren't great, but they came away with a point. They're still unbeaten. They haven't lost since the 6th of December. Have they been brilliant every game? No, they haven't been. Far from it. But their lows don't go beyond a certain point. So I need to readdress my thing and stop thinking that just because Arsenal can get to that level of performance, the point is they can also go there. City are always just in a much... Their ceiling and their floor is tighter together.
In other words, the standards don't drop to unacceptable levels.
Great way to put it. Their standards are always... It's a level far above Arsenal's.
Okay, James, I could feel that pain in your voice. Thanks for being so honest on what has been a very disappointing day at the office for us. So let's hope they can pick it up during the week.
Thank you.